Oh my days, Donnies and Donettes. No, start again. Cheese on bread. You know what it is. We are back with another week of a brand new episode of the Mobile DJ Mastery Podcast. Yes. And I am back going stronger, as you know how we do. This week, we've got another amazing guest, one of my good friends, someone who helped me a lot when I started. So I wanted to bring him on, talk about that, but also how he does business differently. Now, obviously, when it comes to running your own business, running your own DJ business, running your own whatever business that you do have, the one thing that's good about it being yours is that you can do things exactly how you want to do, which makes us all different. Some people like to do the repeat and rinse and copy what they see on social media or online or whatever. And some people like to do a little bit of that and also add in their own sauce, their own element, things that make them different, and also different techniques and styles to simplify things for customers while also giving them some options. And today we have Jimmy Lee from Devoted Events. And now the package that he has, one of his main sale packages, is very different to how I've seen anyone else run their DJ operation. He's also a multi-op and he's been doing this for quite some time. So there's things that he has and does that a lot of us don't do, or maybe want to do in the future, or maybe want to stay away from. That's why this episode is good, because we're going to unpick all of that so you can make some better future decisions depending on where you are on your mobile DJ journey. So with that, let's not dilly-dally. You might be on your way to a wedding and a gig and you want something to fill your ears and get some tips and tricks and knowledge. You're in the right place, man. Mobile DJ Mastery. Let's go. Roll the sexy intro. Oh my days, ladies and gentlemen, look who I have beside me. It's the main man, Jimmy Lee from Devoted Events.
Good to see you, mate. I'm not living up to that hype. But
No, you're living up to that hype.
Thanks for having us, mate.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Jimmy, man. I've been wanting to get you on for quite some time. I kind of wanted to build up to kind of this way because I think, like, personally, with where you're at and the way you're doing things, it's something that a lot of mobile DJs might want to aspire to over time. So I think it's always good to talk to someone who's been in the game as yourself and the way you're doing things. Like, I think I'm going to call this episode Jimmy Does Things Different. I think that's the thing that I wrote on the thing on our little invitations. Because I think that you do. And what I love about people that do things differently is to highlight that, to sort of like inspire some other people about how they can do things differently in their own areas, in their own towns, and, you know, do things differently inside their business. Because as you know as well, which I know you would agree, is that we are in the service industry, and in the service industry, you can do things very different. It might be a bit harder for like products, but when it comes to services, it's very organic in how you can kind of do that. So we like to do things different. So yeah, thank you for joining me on today's pod, Mr. Jiminy.
Thanks for having me, mate.
All right, Jimmy. So there's a lot of things that I want to get into today. We want to talk about day hosting. We want to talk about the ultimate package that you offer. We want to talk about all the awards and things that you've achieved as well. But before we get into all of that good, flashy stuff, I like to always start my podcast with finding out a bit about you, Jimmy, and sort of like what got you into the whole DJ world. What was your first inspiration into DJing?
Well, basically, my friend we were 13 and his mum was a cleaner at Ormskirk Hospital up in Lancashire.
Okay.
And there was a woman called May Smith who was retiring. They'd let her work to 65. And at midnight, it was going to be her 65th birthday. So they had a retirement party and they said, we can't afford a DJ. So they said, Graham, will you, they said to his mum, Hilda, who recently passed, bless her, a lovely woman. But they said to his mum, you've got a teenage son. Do you reckon he could do the music? So Graham's talking to me for a few weeks about it. He's like, oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And I'm really nervous. And inside I'm thinking, I'm so jealous. Because, you know, when you're a teenager and you go to the under-18s discos, there's always a group of your age of girls sitting swooning up at the fat old has-been DJ. I'm now that guy. Well, that was my aspiration. That's how I saw it as a kid. But anyway, I was really jealous of him. And then it got to about a week before and he went, I'm really nervous about it. Will you do it with me? And I was like, if you really want me to.
And so before then, did you
Yeah.
ever have any training into DJing, or was that like your? Did
No,
you?
I
No.
just loved
Okay.
music, and to be honest, I didn't really have the stickability to learn an instrument. We were going to have a band, me and Graham, that we floated that for a while. We're going to be called the Runaways. So we had all these different ideas, but the DJing thing, as soon as we did that one, they did a whip round and they raised like nearly 30 quid in cash in a pint glass. We basically went to the local record shop, just about the whole top 40 in 7-inch singles. This is 1983. I was 13. Went back to my house and we sat down with the stack of singles and went, right, I want this one. And we traded as to who got which tracks in the
Which
50s. I still
songs?
remember a
Okay.
few of the tracks. He
Okay.
wanted Scritty Politti Would Be's, if I remember rightly, and that one sticks on. It might have been a Pray Like Aretha Franklin, was one on his list, and one on my list was Grandmaster Melly Mel and the Furious Five, Step Off. I'm pretty sure that was the case. We probably did it several times. That's my memory of that period anyway. So yeah, we did that, and the guy who owned the record store was a mobile DJ. So
Nice.
he
Okay.
basically helped train us up, and what he'd do is the under-18s discos for our school, he'd sit on the door and take the money while me and Graham did the DJing. And
Okay.
that's
This is
how it
cash
all
days as
began
well,
with
Jimmy. This is cash days.
yeah, we called ourselves double vision discos. Because we dress identically. But basically the first one was just a hi-fi. So Graham would change the vinyl over at the end of each track, switch it to tape mode, which was set to record pause, so I could use the microphone. I'd talk. We'd swap it over, but generally it was Graham doing the changing of the vinyl and me doing the talking in the air.
So you
The
was
very
like a bit of the
first gig.
host, and he was like the DJ, kind of, if in a little bit of a way. He was
Yeah, I
like
think
selector, and you was.
we didn't really identify it, but I think me being a bit gregarious, I was probably a little more comfortable, so kind of dominated that, and he dominated the music side, but we did swap it over.
Gotcha.
Again, this is my memory like 40 odd years on, so that could have distorted a little. I'm pretty sure Graham would agree with it, but
Could
you
be
don't know.
a bit miragey. Could be a bit miragey, but
What I do remember is that gig was we did the whole Russ Abbott I Love a Party album and the whole Black Lace album, because we were 13-year-old kids. We didn't know music, but the people then, they just wanted party fun songs.
yeah,
And we just fed off the fact that we were getting this attention and people were enjoying what we do. Being a puppet master, still now, 56 years of age, and it's my favourite part of my job, when you feel like you've got people there and you're going, you're really happy and I'm helping make that happen. What a rush. It's amazing.
Yeah. It's definitely something to chase, isn't it, Jimmy? When you first get that feel of crowd control and you've got the crowd in your control, that's when it does become very addictive.
Yeah, it's when you're struggling for how to get the crowd. That's when, if you still care about what you do, which I'm sure all of us do, that's when you stood behind the DJ booth. Maybe the buffet's going on, and maybe I've done the odd gig where I've gone home and I've thought, I've lost my touch, I've lost my mojo, and then I've got the most amazing review from people who've had the most amazing time, and I'm like, wow. So I think it's a good thing to be your own critic, your own worst critic.
I agree, yeah, I agree.
But it also puts a lot of pressure and a lot of strain on ourselves if we still care about what we do, which we should.
It's funny you say that, because I kind of come to the conclusion of, with us, we see all our performances, right? We see all of our nights. We see us wherever we're doing and we're doing the work. So we compare all of our work to all the work we've done. But with the guests, this is the one time maybe they might see us. This is the one time.
Yeah.
And they're going to critique us based off that one time. And most of the time, they're going to be like, you was phenomenal, because we're using all of our expertise in terms of how we're doing things. So similar to when you're saying you're driving home, because even myself, I've had a gig recently this year. I'm driving back and I'm like, I don't know if I slapped it. I don't know. Was it what happened? I didn't get what I wanted. Maybe towards the end, but I'm like, nah, I like it straight from the first dance all the way to the end. That's what I want. I want it to be 100.
Yeah, of course.
But sometimes it doesn't go like that straight away. Sometimes it takes time to build up, or the people have to warm up. And then you blame yourself. You know, you're like, I did something wrong. You're not worrying about the family dynamic. You're not worried about the weather. You're not worried about the heat, the aircon, the sun, someone that was shouted at, something else went wrong.
October or...
Yeah. You're not worried about exactly the day of the week and people have to go work tomorrow. You're just blaming it all on you and your performance and being like, oh man, I didn't I didn't do this, I didn't do that. And exactly like what you're saying, you'll get a review where you'll be like, oh man, maybe they're gonna give me maybe a 4-star, it might be my first 4-star. Oh my God, or I might not get no review at all. And then they tell
Yeah.
you, oh, it was amazing, people are talking about you, and you're getting the same feedback you've been getting for years. And then you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I am.
Mm.
And that's the kind of reminder that every audience is different. You're always you. You're always
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
be you. You're always going to put out your 150%. But every audience is different. And don't be too hard on yourself when you don't get that same reaction from the last Saturday or the 2 months ago or whatever gig you might rate as a 10 out of 10. Not everyone
Yeah,
is
yeah.
that group. So nice. It's definitely a good reminder. So anyone
Well, I had
listening,
that.
take that reminder, man, because we all
Yeah.
get it. We all get it. We all get it.
Well, I had it the night before last, actually, where the couple had said on Monday night for that wedding, they'd said it was in the notes, we are not dancers.
Right.
So I knew what the expectation was. They danced, and they were over the moon at the end of the night. It wasn't the sort of arms in the air, bouncing up and down, singing along that you'd
Yeah.
crave,
Mhm.
and that we normally feed off. But people were dancing all night,
Mm.
and it was certainly from when I arrived, the atmosphere transformed during the night. And sometimes you have to moderate your expectation of what is a success. Because
Yeah, I
a
agree.
lot of the time, like that one, I drove home. It may not have been what I would want to go out for from an emotional perspective, but I drove home knowing there was nothing more that I could have done.
Yeah.
Um,
You done the best you
and it
could
was like
do.
that. Yeah.
No, those things are good reminders to have because, as you said, once again, being in the service industry, we can be very critical on ourselves. If it's a product that you're delivering, you put the product out, you let it do its work, and you finish. There's no there's no. What do you mean bad review? It turned on, it did its
Yeah.
thing, it turned off. I put it in the van, I'm gone.
Mm.
But if it's a service and something personal that you're doing, and more so going back to what you're saying about the passion, this is another thing that's quite important, is about passionate and loving what you're doing and people being able to see and feel that. And if you don't love what you're doing for whatever reason, and people can see and feel that also. Do you know what I mean? So having that sort of love and joy to do something is gonna come across, especially if ever you think you didn't do well. But once again, don't be too hard on yourself. Whatever the last audience was, or the Saturday, or the big weather, and then someone else who wasn't that much of a dancer, or they just wanted music, they wasn't really looking to have a jump up time. Don't blame yourself if they're not jumping up, going crazy, not going crazy. So
Actually, you led me perfectly to this is going to be a bit controversial, but one of my biggest bugbears about the DJ industry,
we love some
because all
controversy, Jimmy. Let's have it. Let's have it.
all we see everywhere is everyone complaining about, oh, the price is too low, so and so's forcing price down, so and so's meaning I can't charge what I want to charge. But when I think whilst we've got that mindset, what we're doing is we're feeding the consumer narrative that all we are is dry hire. So Dave up the
Yeah.
road has the same kit as me, so I need to charge what Dave up the road's kit. Well, Dave up the road isn't dry hiring. You're not dry hiring. Your
hmm
price is based on your experience, your skill,
Yep.
your expertise, your
hmm
your background, your
hmm
presentation, your persona. It's
Yep.
based on exactly what you said, service. So we want the reviews based on the service. So we need to price according to the service, not according to the equipment. And
Yeah.
I think a lot of DJs are obsessed with going, so and so charges this, so I need to charge that. Well, so and so is irrelevant, absolutely irrelevant to my business. And
Hmm.
I don't mean that in a disparaging way. I've got a lot of
No.
really, really good friends in this industry, and I will never see, well, friends and foes, we all do, but I don't see a single one of them as my competition.
No. Jimmy,
Because if
thank you for
someone
saying that.
didn't choose me,
Yeah.
they didn't choose me because I wasn't right for them. Now, the only thing I need to do then is go, is there something I did wrong?
Mm.
And if there isn't something I did wrong, if it was a personality clash, if it was a price element, if they didn't see the value in our proposition, whatever it may have been, then I get that. And all I need to do is accept it and move on. The only thing I can influence is the things that I can influence within my business. So I can't influence if someone else is bad mouthing, if somebody else is undercutting, if somebody else is more proactive, then the only thing that I could do with any of those elements is go, the proactive one. That's where I need to work. So
Yeah.
someone's more proactive than me. That's an area that I need to improve. But
hmm
as far as everything else is concerned, I can't and shouldn't even be bothered about being influenced outside my
outside your
area. Yeah.
because you can't. There's nothing you can. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing exactly what you're saying. There's nothing you can do
It's
about that.
wasted energy.
100%. And I say the same, Jim. I've been saying the same thing for ages about, and I really hope people don't take it as I'm being cocky when I say I have no competition. The only competition I have is me. There's no,
100%.
there's
Oh, yeah.
no,
Yeah,
there's
absolutely.
no my competition is me yesterday. My competition is me last week. My competition, that's the only thing I'm looking at is that how can I outdo me yesterday? And I feel if you continue that, one, it makes the industry feel way much more nicer. And generally that's what it is. If you look at the industry in a negative light, you're only going to see what you're looking for. But if you look at the industry in a positive light, which I do, which is the reason why we do, well, one of the many reasons that we do this podcast, it's about sharing. I wouldn't be where I was. I wouldn't be where I am today if I never had people that shared with me, similar to you, Jimmy, which we're going to get onto soon as
Yeah,
well.
totally.
Where you helped me massively, even in my business, and there's been lots of people that I've brought in this podcast that's helped me. So I'm like, how can I make it so we can do this for more people to then raise the industry? But also the mindsets of what you was just saying there about if someone has the Equinox this or the Sound Labs or whatever equipment that they want to have, the Pioneer, the LD, the RCF, you can't base your price based off, okay, well, this DJ is charging $750 and he has A, B, C, D. I'm going to go out, buy A, B, and C, D, and then just put my price at that price. This DJ might have a lot of X experience from different sort of realms, and you might just be a new person who's only done radio. So therefore, these are two different skill sets in terms of who might be better at delivering at what they're delivering. It's not the equipment that you're buying 100%, because you could have someone, once again, who may have the most expensive equipment and is charging very little. And there could be someone who has the bog standard equipment, nothing even great, but he's charging mega price. And usually that will be based
I know
on
examples
skill.
of both of them. Yeah.
Yeah, there's examples of, but there's a guy who's just come
good
in.
examples of both of them. That's not a criticism.
No, not at all.
Good
Not at
examples
all.
of
There's the
both,
guy
yeah.
that's got the loan who said, I'm going to start a business. I'm going to go for 15 grand loan. I'm going to buy lots of stuff. But I'm new. I don't know much. I don't know really how to mix. I'm new in it. So I'm going to come in at a low price with my brand new gear. Then there's another guy who's like, I've been DJing for 10 years. I've never changed my kit. I know exactly what I'm doing. And there you have him. Do you know what I mean? And both of them are fair in what they're saying. And it will only be the untrained person that might look at the expensive person or the expensive gear person and think, right, he's the one to go. It's just all about your experience and kind of what you're looking for. So yeah, man, I don't believe in competition. I don't believe in competition.
Well, when I first finished, I did 2 years in Ibiza in the mid-90s. And when I first finished that, my parents had moved to Peterborough, so it was just easier to move to Peterborough and start again. I didn't want to go back to where I'd lived before going to Ibiza. When I went and settled in Peterborough, I was doing cheap gigs because nobody knew who I was. I needed to get established. So
100%.
it didn't mean I wasn't a good DJ. It didn't mean I didn't have acres of experience, and it didn't take me long to get very well established and well connected. But the fact is, I personally always had an issue with a couple of things. One, I'm a DJ, not a jukebox. Well, people put money into me in return for music. I'm the very definition of a human jukebox. I'm not embarrassed by that. I'm proud of that. You put money into me, and I'll give you the music that you want. Yeah, I've got no issue with that. So that's the first thing. The other thing is a cheap DJ is a crap DJ, or a cheap DJ is not a good DJ. Fundamentally disagree with that, because I was no worse as a DJ when I came back from Ibiza to a new city than I was before I went out there.
Yeah,
if anything, I was better. So it's about individual circumstances, and as I always say to couples, you can get a bargain, you can get a really cheap DJ, but what I think is and you can get rubbish DJs that are high price, or not rubbish, but ones who are not right for you. But I'd say that the higher you go up that scale, the correlation is in a reduction in risk. So the lower the price, the higher the risk, the higher the price, the lesser the risk. But there's still, there's no guarantees either way, you know?
No, you're right. You are right. You could still get, you could get a highly established DJ with a lot of background and still have not the greatest night. Like that could happen.
Happens to all of us.
That could happen.
Yeah.
You know, you could book this person who's got this great, and then it just doesn't transpire. There's just, the night was, it was okay, but I was expecting much more bigger things, but depending on the person that I booked.
Well,
so
last year I personally DJ'd 170 gigs last year.
Jesus Christ.
The business
Jimmy,
did almost double that.
170!
Yeah, yeah. So only a fool is going to say I smashed every single one of them. Of course I didn't.
Yeah.
But I
Mm.
gave every single one of them the very best of me.
Yes.
Um, but yeah, they went all weddings. There were some Christmas parties, but the vast majority, I would say, probably 130 to 140 would have been weddings,
It's a lot of
and a
work, Jimmy.
few
That's a lot
corporate
of
gigs.
work,
But
man.
yeah,
Like,
that's why I look like this. Look at the bags, man. Oh.
A hundred. I don't think I could. I don't think I could ever do 100 gigs a year.
Yeah, it's
It's
one
a
of the
lot.
things we changed. I'm sure we'll come on to the thing about the packages, but as of
Yeah.
this year, from the 1st of January of this year, I've said to all couples, I'm no longer guaranteeing myself as your DJ unless it's one of our packages. You may still get me, but that will depend on it because we've got great DJs. We've got DJs that we trust implicitly with our brand. As soon as we
Mm.
send someone out that doesn't live up to that brand, we've destroyed everything we've built. So we've got great DJs that we do rely on and do trust. But I used to guarantee if I had a connection and I got on real, I'll be your DJ. And I was like, you've got to stop doing that because
Yeah.
it's not sustainable.
It's not
And
sustainable.
I don't want to give 60% of myself to anyone. It should
And the
be
thing is,
fully.
Jimmy, you're a people's person, so I know you're the person you find it hard to say no as well. Do you know what I mean? You want to deliver, especially like
Yeah.
you said. If you connect with the people, you're like, do you know what? I want to be the DJ for you, and then that will happen a
Yeah.
lot, and then therefore you can see
Yeah.
it taking its toll with the bags.
Yeah, that's really bad, isn't it?
Because yeah, like 100. I don't think. Yeah, 100. Yeah, that is. Well, anyway, over 100. And the thing is, a lot of DJs do well over 100. Like, yeah, I can't. It's crazy. It's crazy. But what you just said brings me brilliantly, smoothly into my next question about business, Jimmy. And what I wanted to know from yourself, yeah, is because what I love about watching you is that you have a business very different to a lot of us, where you've got a lot of people on your team. You've got people in the office. You've got people doing your photo booths, laying floors. Like, you've got a team of people, where a lot of us is just solo DJs. I've just kind of come into the realm where I've got an assistant, and that helps me tenfold. Like, I echo it to people as much. And when I tell people about driving price, my thing is just to drive price to scare customers away, or to be the, look at me, I charge this. No, my thing is about sustainability and about investing that money into things like a content creator or an assistant, because these can really amplify your business and what it is that you could do. So I recently now try to make it so every gig I go to, I've got an assistant with me, which is tenfold. But in my mind, I'm always like, the dream is to have someone doing my inquiries, someone doing this, someone going to emails, someone doing this, the guest shows. And it's basically kind of with what you're doing. But so what I want to ask you, Jimmy, is could you give us a couple of pros and cons about operating as a business at your size? Because you've got quite a few employees. How many would you say roughly?
Well, we've got Jonathan and Cameron who help us on the setup and pack downs. It is a family business, so a lot of them is still done by myself and my wife as well, and our son Theo when he's in the UK. We've got Sarah in the office, deals with all of our admin, and Sarah has been an absolute godsend. I'm not just saying that because she might be able
No,
to hear me the other side of this door. She has been incredible for the business.
I can imagine.
The best way to describe it is when Sarah came on board, I went from drowning to treading water. So it's kind of there, but it's no longer there. So that's progress.
At least now you can breathe out your nose now. Oh, yes. Wow. Guys, I'm nearly done.
Well, there's two things about being self-employed. First of all, you get to choose your own hours, but they're 365 and 24/7, 365.
Yep.
The second thing about being self-employed is you get to be your own boss, and you immediately find out your boss is an idiot. Certainly in my case. But yeah, so the team that we've got, it's a really strong, solid team. Obviously, you've got to kiss a lot of frogs to get your prince.
Yeah. That's another thing as well, isn't it?
Yeah, but as much as there's been disappointments en route, it's not a malicious thing. People have different ways of working, and people
Yeah.
have certain expectations. And over time, in any job, your expectations can change, and we have had that with a few people that don't understand why there's been a separation as palatable and nice as you try to make it. But
Yeah.
there's things like there's been a couple of giving out their own cards at our gigs. Well, you're using our equipment in our venue with our clientele, and giving out your own business cards. And there was one who
Mm-hmm.
actually did so with my wife in the building while she was hosting the photo booth, and he couldn't understand why I sent a polite email saying, "Look, we wish you well. You're a really good DJ. It's disappointing, but you got to understand why we can't use you anymore."
Do they get
Um,
briefed though, Jimmy? Do they like when people on
Everyone who
board with
works for
you?
us agrees
Because I
to a code
think,
of conduct. Yeah.
oh,
So
okay, because
there's
I think if someone
no
did that and they
alcohol
didn't
unless it's
know,
at the end of the
then
night. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah. So there's
mm.
our business cards are in each of the cable boxes. So
So
for
they've got
each
them
of
to
the
hand
rigs,
out,
because
and
we
then
supply everything. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
okay.
But if someone's giving out their own Instagram handle direct to a customer to contact you direct, well, how did you get that? But who was paying you to be there, and whose equipment were you using? Whose venue was it? It's just, it's a red card offence, I'm
It's
afraid.
distasteful. It's distasteful.
Um,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, but that said, I don't want to appear that I'm being negative about that, because we've all been in the environment of building our own business, and I think it's easy to get distracted and forget the hand that's feeding you.
Feeds
So,
you. Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah, 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 yeah.
fortunately, at the moment, we've got a really good, really strong team we're very proud of. So, um, apologies for that diversion, but it is an
No, no
important
problem.
part
No,
of
because I
as you
think
grow
what.
the business, you
No,
do have
Jimmy,
these experiences.
it's important to talk about those things because, like. That's the whole reason why I always thought I would be multi-op. I always thought like, we would have me and not even massive multi-op, only like 2 or 3 other DJs that I kind of run with. And then I kind of realized quite early, I was like, I don't know if I could do that. Like, I just don't know if I could do that. One, I know when people similar to like yourself, they buy into you, right? That's the reason why they want you to be at the gig. It's very similar to myself. They buy into me as a person, like as a human, not as a performer, just as a holistic person. So then I'm like, I can't give you somebody else. The thing that's brought you to my business is me. So it's very hard for me to. So then I kind of let go of the whole idea of having other DJs. And then there's also this as well, what you was just speaking about, if I put in lots of work for my marketing, I get these clients, I work with these venues, like I do a lot of work behind the scenes to make these opportunities come. And then I've then put another DJ in with the opportunity, and then they are then seen to be trying to do the whole taking work from the work that you've given them. That can cause a lot of rift, because then it's like, oh, hold
Yeah,
on a
yeah,
second, I'm trying to, I'm putting food in your mouth, basically. I'm feeding you,
yeah.
biting hands that feed you. That's where the whole side comes from. And if that happens, like, how would that make me feel? Do you know what I mean? And
Mm.
sort of that's kind of that reason, and also people just wanted myself, just made me say, do you know what? Just focus on just me doing me. Got my assistant, I've got my small little thing
There's a
going
lot to be
on,
said for that.
and just kind of run
I
it,
mean,
run
to
it,
have
run it
all
like
this,
that.
to run this business with just the monthly cost is over 10 grand a month.
Oh,
And
yeah,
then there's like the annual car insurance, vehicle insurance, for example, sorry, at 5 grand a month, 5 grand a year. And there's lumps here and there. So we're looking at 150K profit to run the business.
yeah, to even run it. So we need
So
to clear that
when,
before we can. Yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah, when a DJ is being paid a set amount, we had one DJ who was paid £1,000 and complained that we earned £2,000 from that booking. And I was like,
Wait,
well,
he was
before we
getting
look
a
at the business
thousand
cost,
pounds.
yeah, it was all day hosted, and there was a toastmaster at that event, so he just had to be there. Um, but yeah, he got £1,000 for that day and complained that we got 2,000. And I was like, well, hold on, the dry ice cost us nearly 100, the gobo cost us 100. We had my wife there hosting the photo booth, unpaid. I added up all the costs, and I was like, you used our vehicle as well.
Yeah, you you
You
you
got
won,
a
bro. You're the
grand for a
winner.
day.
You are the
Yeah.
winner today. Like,
Mm.
you're the winner today.
Yeah,
We're
needless to
just
say,
scraping.
we're no longer working together. That was it.
Yeah.
That was a few years ago, to be fair.
Hmm.
Um, but actually, I have still passed that person work, despite various other bits. I've still passed them quite a bit of work since. Because what's most important is, do you know what? They were a good DJ. They've got good reviews, they've got good contacts with people, and if we can help somebody out, we want to help people out. If we're not right for them, if there's a school looking for a DJ supplier and we're full, we'll recommend them.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
anyway,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, I think like this is once again, this is another thing of people to think about if you do want to expand. Because I know some people have big dreams, and I think it's always great to dream big in your business. There's no point reach for the what's that saying I heard one time? Reach for
reach
the
for the moon,
moon.
you might catch a star,
Yeah, you might catch a star.
or
Do
it
you know what
might
I
be the
mean?
other way. Reach for the stars, you might catch the moon, or
You
something
might,
like that.
or it
Anyway, yeah,
was reach for the moon,
yeah,
and if you don't make it, you should land amongst the stars. And I was like, oh,
okay,
nice.
yeah.
That sounds nice. So I always think it's good to dream big, but when dreaming big, hearing these little things can also help people along the way. Because a lot of this, like, let's just say, Jimmy, if you had all the knowledge that you have now and you started again, you would do things totally different in the way you, especially when it comes to staffing and picking people and things of that nature.
Yeah, I
You
think
would filter it differently because you've got a bit of, well, a lot more experience in it, lot more XP
Yeah, I
points. So you
think
might do
I'd
things differently.
probably try to be less of a friend and a bit more of a boss, but I still want to be friends and still want to be close with people, but we all judge people by our standards, and we only
Mm,
discover when someone has different standards when it's too late. Um,
yeah,
and that
yeah,
doesn't mean those standards are worse. It doesn't mean that person is a worse person. It just means that perhaps, in fact, I always used to get told, "Oh, you share too much. You give people too much information. You shouldn't be telling people this, that, and the other." And this was one of our DJs at the time, and I was like, "But what you're suggesting means that I should lie and deceive and be
yeah. And
protectionist.
gatekeep and stuff
Why
like
have
that. Yeah.
anything to hide?" Yeah, it's like,
Mm,
no. If somebody wants to take information and use it against me, then that's for their conscience, not mine. And I
mm.
generally don't think that happens. I'm also aware that I'm being quite negative on this pod, which was never the intention. But but trying to offer all angles and all things that I didn't think about. But then again, to go back, would I change any of it? Even the bad experiences? Absolutely not. No,
No, because it's
I
part
love
of.
where I'm at. And the reason I did this and grew this business and became a multi-op was because I thought at some point I'm whether I want to step back or not, ultimately there will become a point where the market decides I should step back.
Yeah,
Whether I'm
yeah.
ready to step back is a different
That's a
issue,
different story. Yeah,
but
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
need to be aware that at some point either I choose to step back or the market chooses that I step back, and I need to insulate myself from that. So the idea
Hmm.
being we grow the business and I become less of a figurehead or more of a figurehead and less of a pivotal element,
Yeah,
hence
yeah, yeah,
being
yeah, yeah.
devoted events where we started out as Jimmy Lee Entertainments.
Okay, okay, that makes perfect sense. That makes perfect sense. And you're not being negative, Jimmy. You're being informative. Is the is the way I'd
Yeah,
like to restructure. You're
try to
being
be honest, but
way more
also
informative
put a
because.
smile on it, Jimmy.
So let's get into more joyful stuff. Do you know what? Actually, I'm going to quickly pause, Jimmy, and I want to say I need to let the people know where I met you and how I met you. So
Yeah,
I met Jimmy in 2022. I think it was either 2022 or 2023. It was at the Pro Mobile conference in Solihull, and
23, I believe it
I
was,
think it
if
was
memory serves
23. I'm going
correctly.
to say
It was your
20.
first one there, wasn't it?
It was my first DJ conference
You made a
of.
big impact. I'm not just saying this. You made a big impact. I was like, where's this guy come from? Yeah, it was in a good way.
I appreciate. Well, some of that comes to yourself, Jimmy. And like I said, when I first came in, I was trying to seek education. I was trying to seek because I've done lots of businesses before this business. And one thing I learned is that education helps you save time and money, which is, I don't know, everyone's got their difference on value. Mine is time. Time is way more valuable to me than any money. So if I can get saved time, I will save way more money in the long run. So one thing I learned from the past businesses is that um, you can learn from others that have been doing things longer than yourself. So when I came there, I was seeking that like heavily, which I'm sure you probably can remember. And I
Yeah, yeah,
remember, I can't remember what it was that drew me to you. But when I started speaking to you, you didn't know me from Adam. You know, we met at that day at the World. It was a 2 day, 3 day event, 2 day event.
yeah. It
Um,
was, yeah.
and I just remember the way if I asked you something, you was just saying, yep, this is what happens, this is what I've experienced, this is what I've seen, maybe try this, maybe try that. And I'm like, wow. Then I asked you another thing. You was like, yep, I'm just like, oh my God, like this guy's thank you. Obviously, I know for you at the time it might have been nothing, but I'm there like soaking it all up. But then at the same time, saying that, Jimmy, there was a lot of people that I did reach out to on Instagram, Facebook, all different kinds. A lot of them didn't reply to me, a lot of them didn't say anything to me, a lot of them blanked me, a lot of them kind of said, like, gave you the vibe that, listen, mate, if you want to learn, go out and learn your own way, the same way I learned. But I was like, mate, that's going to take me years. That's going to take me, that's going to take me years. So first of all, big up to you, Jimmy, for being that to me.
Thanks,
and
mate.
then more so, which we're going to touch on tonight, is the day hosting. And I remember
Sorry,
when...
I just remember you were great company and we got smashed together.
Yeah,
I shouldn't share that, should I?
Well, that's... take it. We got smashed on alcohol, guys. We was drinking alcohol.
We did. Oh, yeah. Gotcha. No, that's my only one. But no, from what you just said, I'll give credit to Alan Marshall, not for the fact that we share the mindset. And he quoted Mark Ferrell when we were talking at one of these, I think it was a Cedar event. You were there actually,
Yes,
when I was
Cedar Buzz.
thoroughly exhausted. I could barely string 2 sentences together after like 2 hours sleep and 4 packages on the bounce. I was a broken man that day. But I was chatting with Alan, and he said something that really stuck with me that he'd learned from Mark Ferrell, and that was what we should be like as an industry. And he said, when you go up in an elevator, what do you do when you know someone's waiting? You send it back down. Send it back down to lift somebody else up.
I love that.
I really like that.
I love that because... Yeah, I love that because that's what you would genuinely do, and that's what it should generally do. Sadly, Jimmy,
and there's a lot of people who block the doors.
As we know, there's a lot of people that will be like, what? There's a lot of people that are trying to get up here. Let me wedge a table in this door so the lift just keeps on clapping and never goes down. There's a lot of people in this industry that are like that, sadly. And the thing is, this is where it gets really crap. Some of them are listening to this podcast. Some of them listen to this podcast. And they're like,
actually,
I hate this podcast. This guy's helping too many people. This is why now it's hard for me to get bookings. Where's my inquiries gone? Oh, it's because of that podcast.
Genuinely, and just another quick aside, someone actually said to me, it was at an awards event, someone actually, when I said, I still love what I do, but I need to prepare for sort of stepping back and not be setting up quite so many. So, we're growing the team for that reason. And genuinely, this person, when I said how old I was, like I said, 56, this person's I'm guessing about 10 or 15 years younger than me. They were like, what are you doing, man? You should be retired. Without a hint of irony, they said to me, you should be retired. You should be making way for the young ones like me coming through. And I was like, whatever happened to you earning it? To be honest, at the time, I was too shocked to say that. But straight afterwards, I was like, no, if you think I'm too old, be good enough to push me out of the way.
Yeah.
You be better. Don't expect me to be worse and me to make way and pave it. I mean, I'm focusing on doing what I do to the best of my ability and making my business the best that it can be. So if you want a piece of that, great. Absolutely. Come at me. We should all be aspiring to be better. I'm still learning from other people now. But I'm certainly not saying, excuse me, step aside.
Yeah,
what?
Make way for me. No, make way for yourself. Like, that's not how it works in this game. So
yeah, that did make me chuckle, to be fair.
Mindsets, Jimmy. There's a lot of, but that's why we're trying to change as much as those as we can. But I wanted to say thank you for that. But more so, Jimmy, I remember one thing that's really changed my business massively is my day hosting. And I remember when I started getting 1 or 2 bookings where people was asking me to host. I've never hosted before. And I remember I had these 2 bookings that I took on. Yeah, I can host your wedding. Yeah, 100%. Jimmy, I've never hosted no wedding. Like, I was an evening DJ service. That's what I offer. I didn't really, apart from weddings that I've attended myself, I didn't really know exactly what a host needs to be doing. And I remember seeing you host, and I remember calling you up, and I was speaking to you, and you said to me, come and shadow me. I've got this one on this day. Are you free? Yeah. It was a midweek one. So he's like, look, you're probably going to have availability. Come down, just shadow me, be around, see what I do. I was like, no way. Because as you said, we got a lot of people that want to put the shoe on the table in the lift and never sent it down. But you never sent the lift down. You sent the chauffeur to my house to pick me up and take me to the lift. That's how good it was. And then when I came, I remember, and you was just doing your thing. What I loved about you, Jamie, I could see you was just relaxedly being you. And that's what massively helped me. I had this false illusion that you had to be this type and you must do this and you have to tick these boxes. And then watching you kind of let me know that, no, bro, you got to know the key points, 100%. There's key points in the day where you need to take control. But inside those key points, you do the key points, but then put you in it. And that's what you was doing. You was doing your jokes, Jimmy. You was doing your thing. Key points, doing your jokes. Key points, doing your thing. Relaxed, games, everything. You made everyone feel a certain way. And I'm just watching it thinking, why did I make it this massive, crazy thing in my head? Like, where it was like, oh my God, I have to be. And I'm like, no. The main thing you need to learn is the pointers, the timings, the professionalism, the stuff you do away from the guests with the venues, the talking to the suppliers as you was doing. You was talking to the photographers, you was talking to the catering staff, you was doing all that. And that sounds like that's where the learning is. That's where the learning is. So first of all, I want to say thank you so much for letting me shadow you that day.
But you got some great footage on my Osmo as well, so thank you for that. I found it again the other day. I was like, why have I not used any of this?
Why have you not posted it?
Oh no.
But what is it? Because I know, when did you then get into hosting and what kind of got you into the all day? Because I know that's something that you push a lot now within your business, is the full day thing.
Yeah, I mean, we in fact, just the other day, I took a call from somebody who wanted the package and they said they thought they'd already booked us and it was for this coming February. He went, I'm really sorry, please tell me you're available. He said, I want the package and all day hosting's got to be one of my options. I was like, great. It's becoming, in fact, I did just over a week ago, I did 4 in a week, all day hosting. And I love it. I genuinely did. Come on, let's face it.
Wait,
DJs are all about ego.
Is that if we're not doing DJ service, is that just hosting? Or when you say that, those 4
DJing
bookings,
as well. If
DJing in the evening as well?
It can be like an 18, 19-hour day, yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot. It's a lot.
But I've actually got a few. I've done one. Actually, no, one of those was hosting the daytime, and then in the evening they only had a magic mirror. So my wife turned up. She hosted the magic mirror for a few hours. I went home, sat down for an hour's chill out. It's only 15 minutes from our house, and then went back to help her pack it away. So that was a really nice. It was a lovely. Calm.
That's
lovely
a really nice, easy.
Well.
That's a lovely one. Yeah. For sure.
I was actually at Mulberry House as well, at the venue that you came to.
That's the one I came to. Yeah.
Yeah, in fact, we've just taken a booking yesterday for this coming September, which means we're going to be there 6 days in a row, which has never happened.
Might as well just move in, Jim, at this stage.
Yeah, exactly. Like some of our other venues, just keep a set of kit on site. So as far as the hosting is concerned, when I turned up to a client consultation, because this is way pre-COVID, in the early days of the business, about 10 years ago, and I used to do on-site visits to the couples. This couple asked me about my price for all-day hosting, and I still drive past that house and remember that every time I drive past that house. They probably don't even live there now. Every time I drive past that house, I remember the fact that I didn't know how to price it. I had no idea what was required. I had no idea how to pitch it. It hadn't even entered my head. So they were asking me for something that I didn't offer. And I was honest with them. And I said, it's something I'm willing to investigate, I'll look into. But at this stage, I'll be brutally honest with you. If it's all day hosting you want, I'd rather be better prepared and I'd rather be honest with you that I might not be right for you. So I then did start digging into it. And certainly at that time, most of the all day hosts that I knew were just playing music. What it meant was we play music for the ceremony, reception drinks, we play music, your ceremony music, we play music for the background during the wedding breakfast, and we introduce the speeches. And I was like, well, actually, surely it should be, I'd rather feel like I'm earning it. So
a bit more than that.
If that's what people want, that's what some couples, they don't want the games and activities.
No, it's true. Even I've noticed that. That's why I always let them know it's an option. It's optional. I'm not forcing it down. It's an option. If you think you're
as I always say, I use the same term with all my couples. Nothing we do is prescriptive. We can offer advice, we can offer guidance, we can tell you what mostly happens, but your day should always be about you, not about
100%.
tradition, not about
100.
expectation,
Tell him.
not
Yep.
about, unless you want traditional, then if you want traditional and you
We
want
can
to
do
know
that.
what the seating plan should be, then I can tell you what etiquette dictates. But if you don't want a wedding that's driven by etiquette, then that's not a question you should be worrying yourself with. But
Yeah.
anyway, that's when I started introducing some games, like the heads and tails game is, I think that's probably the best icebreaker, just because it's so simple. And I always
It's
use
so
the
easy.
same joke. It's a simple gag. It's a simple game. It needs to be, because so is the host. They usually gets a chuckle.
And you
So,
put the banter
but
on
it's
yourself, innit?
self-deprecating
Yeah,
humor.
you kind of kill yourself to
Self-deprecating
make it
humor.
that I'm going to take the mick out of myself here, and that's where, yeah, smart, yeah. Smart.
So I usually start with heads and tails, just because it takes 2 to 3 minutes between starter and main. As I always say to venue, the first few times I did hosting, venues were really panicky about upsetting the kitchen. And I was like, no, my role is to work around your needs. And if I can't inject what I do without disturbing you even slightly, we do not do it. Because nobody wants their main course spoiled because somebody decided to do a bit of an activity. So, but the heads and tails is a good way to get a couple of little jokes in, to get everybody involved. It's an icebreaker. It's not meant to be entertainment. It's meant to break the ice, especially when you've got a lot of guests who don't know each other.
Yeah, mixing
So
the
we do
families,
that.
merging the families. Yeah.
Yeah. And between the main and dessert, that's when it could be the Mr. and Mrs. Paddle game. Personally, I don't like the shoes for Mr. and Mrs. A lot of DJs sit couples down and have shoes. Well, who wants to wave around a sweaty shoe you'd be wearing all day? And I just think a pink and a blue paddle, or if we're doing same-sex weddings, then it can be green and orange. And I'll say, right, you can be this color, you're that color. So always trying to be inclusive to all needs. But with the paddles, I always have them stood up back to back, because
Everyone
if you
can
want
see
to
it now.
sit a couple down, the people 3 rows back are now having to stand up to see you. So it should be about what you can deliver for the audience and think about your audience perspective at every level. So we did the Mr. and Mrs. Paddle. We do the scavenger hunt. That's probably become my favorite one. I love it, especially some of the jokes and little curveballs that people aren't expecting that you can throw in there.
You can throw in there.
Yeah. Also, musical bingo's becoming really big at the minute as well, but that can be a bit long. I did one last week, and it was like half an hour. So I said, can we do it after the? Because even if
I've
you do
noticed
it 30
that
seconds
one
of
can
each
go
song,
anywhere, Jimmy. So I haven't done that one, because I thought with time I can't control it, because it can go anywhere. Yeah.
And especially if you want people involved with the musical bingo, I always say, if it's on your card, you have to show the room it's on your card by getting up and dancing or singing along, get involved with each and every song. So yeah, that can be about half an hour. So I do that after the dessert. Again, not disturbing the kitchen, and always consulting with the venue and going, right, this is the schedule. Does that tally with yours? You know, how do I need to work to make sure that I'm not, because the venues that we've been in, we just had a call yesterday with another new venue that looks like we may become a resident
Recommended supply. Okay.
Well, yeah, they're talking about residency, which is great, but it's early days. We've only had the Zoom yesterday. But every single venue we're involved with, which I think is 18, 19 now, every single venue has approached us without exception. We haven't approached a single one to try and get their business or to try and get in there. It should be more about, if you work right with them and you're part of their team, then you're not guaranteed that you're going to be invited to be. It's unlikely, but it's 100% more likely that if you turn up. One of them said to me recently, one of the venues that we've only been at a couple of times, she said, "Oh, it's totally different with you." I said, "How do you mean different?" She went, "Oh, I've never had a DJ that gets involved, helps us move chairs or asks what we need. They usually just sit in a corner." Well, that's where your area of improvement is. If you're that guy sat in the corner or that lady sat in the corner, that's your area of improvement. You know, just be part of the team. Yes, we're devoted events, but when we're there, we're a cog in a machine to make a couple's day special. And 100%. There is no cog, be it the venue, the photographer, the videographer, the cake, the dress, the DJ. There is no cog that's more important than any other. And as soon as you start thinking you are, you're going to start grinding the gears with other cogs.
Yeah, and I think like this goes back to one of the episodes I did with Scott actually, and Scott Jewin, and he spoke
Yeah, he's a good
about
lad.
that as well, and
Don't tell him I
how
said that, but he's a good lad.
no, I think he knows. He knows.
Yeah,
But yeah, he spoke about this not being a pleb, innit? Like not being a like because I agree. I think like when it comes to the day, we are the team, the photographer, the florist, the cake, everyone that's part of this day, we are the team. We're the Avengers that the couple have assembled
yeah,
to make their day the
I like
dream.
that.
And we have all
That
got
feeds the ego. Lovely.
it
I like that.
but it's true though, Jimmy. It's true.
Assemble. Sorry, carry
Yeah,
on.
we've assembled the team now. We are the Avengers, and this is who you've chosen. These are your Avengers that you've
Yeah,
chosen to make this happen. And I think, like, yeah, we have all, if we can support each other in any way to make sure we deliver for the people that chose us, let's do that. And luckily, what's good about that is that relationships and friendships can blossom from that, whether it be you and that photographer that day,
yeah,
whether it be you and that venue, whether it be you and the cake
yeah,
person who came and didn't want to carry it by herself and she's off to another place, but she's only got one pair of hands, but she's scared about carrying it. I'm like, no
yeah.
problem, in we go. Ready? Shuffle, shuffle,
Exactly.
shuffle, 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 shuffle.
Mhm.
We're gonna take the cake to where it needs to be. So yeah, I
Yeah,
think helping with chairs and all that sort of stuff, it definitely helps if you want to be working with other venues and things like that. But sitting in corners and thinking about, grinding gears, thinking about it shows about me, let me wait until I get on because I'm gonna really bring this house down. And yeah,
yeah.
that sort of mindset is not the way to be at all. So in terms of all the venues that have chosen you, would you say they've all chosen you from couples booking you and then you being at the venue and them seeing your work? Or is this just them reaching out to you cold
Um,
online, just saying, oh, yeah, we've seen your work
well,
and we want to work with you?
this new one is actually they just reached out because I think they've done the research online, been through the website. They found us organically, but they're based. This particular contact at this venue is based in the West Country, so although they're going to be overseeing the venue and managing and etc. Because it's new ownership. They just undergone a refurb for this particular
Hmm.
venue. So generally speaking, it tends to be when we've been at a venue, then we get contact to be invited. But there's a couple of them from, I mean, back in the early days when we got the Essex Wedding Awards, that certainly helped. The first 2 years we won the Essex Wedding Awards, that elevated. I'm a big fan of awards. I know they've got
Hmm.
their detractors, but for me, I'm a big fan of all awards, whether we go for them or not. I mean, the International Wedding Awards, we just last week, I think we got the 2026 Global. So that's now 6 years in a row.
You've had it, yeah,
We've
since
got that
2020, all the way
21
through
to 26. Yeah, they didn't actually have a Global in 20.
because of the
That's the
COVID, isn't it?
Voldemort year. We don't.
Yeah,
Um,
don't mention that. Yeah, no one talk about it.
it's PTSD. Um, but yeah, with that, they've only had the global for the DJ category 21 to 26, and we've swept that board each year so far. Touch wood, which is incredible. So that's the only one that we go for now, and I know that there's detractors for that, and I'm like, do you know what? I actually want to lose that award. It's going to sound perverse, but how am I learning if there isn't somebody showing me something different? So
Yeah,
if
yeah.
somebody wants to go for that award and knock us off that perch, great, because there's a learning opportunity
That
where
gives
I
me
can
something
sit
to
there and go,
chase,
right,
innit?
okay, what are they doing? Not to mimic, not to copy, but to be inspired by, which I think we
Hmm.
alluded to a little earlier. So um, there's, for example, the TV screen in the front of the DJ booth. I've had that for 10 years now. I think just over 10 years. I had to have my DJ booth re-welded with a TV that fits perfectly because OCD in the industry, I call it OCO. It's obsessive compulsive order. The wedding trade, it's all about that. You should have OCO. Um, so this inspiration wasn't of having a TV, was because of a guy up in Scotland. I genuinely don't recall who the company was, who the DJ was, but I just
Mm.
remember seeing somebody up north of the border had a DJ booth with a short throw projector from the back projecting onto the DJ booth.
Front
And
of
I
the
thought,
yeah, so then you can see on the other
I
side. Yeah.
like that. You know, that's unusual. And at the time, it was unique. And I was like, okay, how can I work that, but work it my way rather than there's a guy in Southampton had I can't remember, some sort of sign that he used at his gigs. And I contacted him and said, I've seen this on your website. I think it's brilliant. You're in Southampton. I'm in Chelmsford, Essex. Would you mind if? And he came back to me with, actually, it wasn't my idea in the first place, but how rare that you reached out. I'm like, well, who did I hurt by reaching out? So he was like, yeah, use the idea. And to be
Go
honest,
for it.
we didn't actually run with it in the end. I don't remember what it was, but I just remember seeing something and being inspired by it and thinking, well, if I can't elevate it, alter it, adapt it, and improve on it, at least I could have the decency to get consent from the person who
Mm,
did take it that far.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I think um that doesn't happen enough in our industry. We have, obviously, we're in the world of social media now, so a lot of people's things, or however they do things, or however they, especially when it comes to setups as well,
Yeah.
setups we show to then sell our services, but at the same time we have other DJs that will look at the things that we sell and be like, okay, I'm just going to go out and do the exact same thing, and we don't
Yeah, I've
have
had that.
enough of that courtesy of what you was just mentioning there, of someone even reaching out to you and saying, hey man, I love what you're doing with that, like where did
Mm.
you get it from, or how did you do it, is it okay if
I did have
you wouldn't
exactly
mind if
that,
I do
actually.
that?
Yeah,
Okay, what,
I had
someone's done the same thing
a
to yourself?
supplier who actually contacted and said, "I love the rig, really flattering. Could you tell me what type of DJ booth is it? Is it this one?" I was like, "Yeah. This is the booth. This is the brand. You'll need this bracket to adapt for it. I did, you can get it from this supplier. It's a company in Huntingdon, but you can get it from various retailers with links to the retailers." He then said, "Oh, what about the bracket?" I said, "Oh, this is the bracket, but you may need to get a welder to change the bracket to adapt for your TV because the one that they supply wouldn't handle a TV that size. So we had to have special ones made. And then you may need to have some re-welding done on the DJ booth." And then he came back with, "Can you tell me what the exact model of TV is that you use?" And I was like, "Oh, would you like me to breathe for you as well?
Come on, man, there's a bit of
Take
laziness there,
inspiration,
Jimmy. Do you know what I mean? Like,
but
come
you
on, man,
don't
do a little
carbon
bit of
copy. Just
research. Yeah, do
put a
something.
little bit of you into it, put a
Yeah,
little bit of
yeah.
you in. I'm more than happy
Just
to help,
more than
but
happy to
I
help, more
don't
than
want
happy
to
to assist.
create devoted events light elsewhere.
The bird event's light.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that doesn't happen enough in this industry, is that originality, because it's saying, like we were saying, it's about the service rendered more than anything else. And I'm a big believer in inspiration, not copying. Like, to just rip and copy someone
Inspiration, not
is
imitation. Absolutely.
inspiration, not imitation. 100%. Like, you got to look at something and say, that's great, how can I? Do you know what I mean? And then that's when your noggin should turn on. And then you say, okay, I see what's happening there. How can I do something similar, or do something that will get the same reaction by doing something totally different? Instead of saying, I see what's happening there, I'm going to do the exact same thing in that style, in that way. I'm going to stand in that corner. I'm going to say it like that. You're like, no, there's no
Yeah.
organicness there. And there's no you inside there.
Yeah.
And we're doing a service. You're not selling a product, you're selling a service. And in that
Yeah.
service, there needs to be an element of you, not element of someone who isn't you. So out of everything,
Totally.
guys, that you listen to on this podcast, always remember, and even especially when it comes to Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, always remember, like, take inspiration from what it is. That's why when you make a new thing, that's amazing, that's great, instead of just simply just copying. But if you are gonna copy, make sure you get in touch with the person that you saw what they're doing. Trust me,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
industry is not as big as you think it is, and it will go a long
Yes.
way.
Yeah. And it's nice to be nice.
Yeah, great. Well,
Yeah.
exactly. It is nice to be nice. So, and and doing things in that right way will only get you good credits in as you move forward in what you're doing. So, good
Exactly.
practice, guys. That's definitely the way to go. And inspiration is always the way to go. So, Jimmy, I want to talk about how you do things different. And one of the things I think you definitely do different, not only is the way that you run your company and how you have, crazy bills to pay, but other than that, I want to talk about your ultimate package. And I remember when you did do that talk at the Buzz Learning
You
Day.
want to be careful how you phrase that, by the way.
Well,
Thank you very much. I'm flattered.
I'm sure your wife's a big fan of that. But what we're talking about here is your when it comes to your bundle packages and how you sell
Yeah.
the services that you have. And there seems to be one. I know when you do your all days, you've got it in big numbers. It's very clear from a far distance when people see you at an open day. Even though that's not the only thing, that's the thing that you're saying is like, come and get this, and it's a
Yeah.
done deal. It's a
Oh,
done
that
seal.
roller banner is the best marketing we've done. Better than the
Yeah.
signage on the bands.
No, but
Best marketing we've done, that
personally,
roller
I
banner.
think with that roller banner, this is me personally, Jimmy, it's that price. It's that price.
Mhm.
It's clear. It
Yeah.
is what it is. That's what you are going to pay, not a penny more. And come over and find out. If you can't read all the stuff, come and talk to me and find out what's included in this package. Because similar to like what you was we went on earlier, some people might see that package and think, Jesus Christ, that's well out of my budget. And some people might see that package number and say, okay, that's a healthy number, but I'm sure it comes with stuff where it's probably going to end us saving in the long run. So let's talk about your ultimate package. What is in it? How do you structure it? How do you sell it? What actually is your ultimate package?
And well, basically, what I wanted to move away. You know, I've done talks on this at Pro Mobile, etc., and that. I wanted to move away from bronze, silver, and gold, because to me, that's sandwich,
That's the
sandwich
worst.
crisp, sandwich
That's the
crisp, and the drink.
worst packaging names ever. But anyway,
Yeah.
terrible.
Oh, some people think they're clever by saying, "Oh no, we do gold, platinum, and
And
titanium." It's just
uranium. I'm
different
like,
words
get
for
out
the
of it.
same
Yeah,
thing.
get
You know?
out of it. It's rubbish. If you're
So
guys,
yeah, I wanted to move away from that.
yeah,
And I wanted to say, well, look, who's paying who for a service here? So you're paying me for a service, so why am I dictating what you can and can't do? If I've got this list of stuff that I've got available, and initially we started out, I think we probably had about 15 items that we just built as add-ons, like the photo booth, Starlit Dance Floor, love letters. We acquired some floral love letters. We got some rustic, and as we built this and expanded, like the magic mirror, the caravan photo booth, some of them are in the same lane. But as we expanded that, it was like, well, hold on a second. Now we need to look at going, right, we're your one-stop shop. So you got one point of accountability, one point of invoice. You've got one person who you're not going, well, has this one turned up? Did we order that one? Have we got the balance to pay for that one? And instead of it splintering for the couple, it makes it easier for them. And also it secures more of the revenue for us. Let's not pretend
yeah.
otherwise.
It makes
So
sense. It makes sense. Yeah.
It's heavily expensive to preload and do the investment. So now we've got like 3 dance floors, 4 magic mirrors, 3 oval booths, all that sort of stuff. So we've expanded as far as that. Most of that is to give them more choice. A lot of it isn't out at the same time, but the options are all there to make sure couples have what they want as far as we plausibly can. But yeah, it's basically, here's a list of, I think there's something like 28 items, and you can choose any 10 for one price of $3,950. I can say that price, courtesy of actually our best paid employee is a lady by the name of Rachel Reeves. I don't know if you've heard of her, Rachel in accounts.
Yes, she's part of the
Chancellor of the Exchequer.
the Chancellor for Labour, isn't it? She's making things great. Anyway, I don't want to say what I really want to say, but yeah.
No.
But
because of that and the fact that we're VAT registered, because we do have this stealth tax on success, which means you hit a certain point, you hit 90K and you've got to give them 17,000 of it. It's like, well, but why? So most companies avoid that 90K. Now we've gone quite a bit beyond it, but I still resent the fact that someone said to me recently, well, why are you upset at the 20%? Just be glad that people still want to book you with that 20%. I'm like, well, yeah, but these are consumers who are booking us that see what value at that price.
Yeah, I agree, Jimmy.
So we're giving somebody else 20%. When the consumer, they can't offset it, they can't reclaim it, etc. So that makes it difficult. But anyway, sorry, that's an aside. But so the price is going to go in the new year. We're going to put it to 4,500, just with the general costs of the staffing, the premises. Not so much the premises, but the new increased costs, fuel, and
fuel was crazy right now, Jimmy.
Dude,
bro.
So yeah, anyway, sorry, without trying to digress too much, people see that 3,950, and yeah, to be fair, you will get people who go, oh, that's a lot, that's steep, I don't like the E word, I don't like expensive. We can be out of people's budget, and I fully respect that. I get disappointed when people call us expensive, because that's something we're absolutely not. I believe we offer incredible value for money. But I appreciate the bottom line figure can be, it's a hefty chunk. I totally get that.
Yeah, 100%.
But more and more people are actually saying all of that's incredibly cheap.
Well, once again, it goes back to what you're saying earlier, Jim, about your client, innit? That your customer. There's some people that would look at that and be like, wait, so I can get that, because I went online the other day and I saw a company that for me to just get 3 or 4 of those items, I was paying similar to that number. But this guy, I can get this, then that's now a bargain. And then you'll get some people, tie kickers, basically, that will look at that and say, that's well out, because they're not they're not doing the research and then finding out. Usually, them same people would go and do that away from you, but end up spending more on getting, 7 suppliers to do the things that they could have done, but they never did the research at the time. Yeah.
But I have had experience of people saying that to us, and they might just book a photo booth and then go, we wish we booked you for everything. It would have been cheaper. Which, but they got what they believed, and we can all I'm not saying make a mistake. Maybe they had exactly the right DJ supplier who would have been better for them in the end. But we have had experience of people saying that. I mean, also, there's going to be some people who go, look, my wedding is costing me this. I haven't got another £4,000 plus. Like we also have a performer package, which is 5.5, but that includes 2 performers. So it could be sax, bongos, magician, vocalist, strings. So any 2 out of those 5, and that's our plus the ultimate package on top. So, but that's our top tier, and for a lot of people they haven't got the budget for that, and I fully respect that. Some people have got a budget of 250 quid for a wedding DJ, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's no shade on that, because there is a market for that.
There is but there's someone for everybody. There is somebody for everyone. This goes back to something that Daryl from Sweet Vibe said. He said that there's a budget, there's an audience, there's a DJ for every budget and every audience. There's someone that will come and do the £100 gig. There's someone that will come for the £10,000 gig, and everything in between. Do you know what I mean? For whatever it is. So it's all down to the preference of the individual and what they're looking for. And if that tickles your fancy and that's something that you want and something that you can do, then go for it. And if it's something that you can't do, totally understand. But there will be other options where you can find something that fits more within what it is.
Well, everything we have is individually priced. For example, the DJ at 1,500, the telephone box audio guest book that we got, the full, we got 2 of those, and that's 950. So there you're looking at 2,450 for 2 items. So for another 1,500 quid, you can have 8 items, one of which could be all day hosting, one of which could be a starlit dance floor, dry ice, cold sparks.
So wait, hold on, Jimmy. When you say the 10 items, is one of the items DJ is an item?
Yes, yeah.
And then another item is cold sparks.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So when you got this list of 28, I mean, you got 4 different types of love letters. No one's going to book floral, rustic, contemporary, and traditional love letters.
I want this over there.
I
want this on the left. I want that one on the right-hand side. Yeah.
But nonetheless, out of those 28, they can go, well, I want that one. It's still 28 options that they can choose 10 from. But yeah, that will be dry eyes, cold sparks, gobo projector, uplighting, starlit dance floor, photo booth, magic mirror, caravan photo booth. We use what we call the U-phone. You probably know it as the selfie wizard. We rebranded it the U-phone just because I thought that was selfie. For me, was a bit of a restrictive perception of what it is.
Yeah, I've changed the name of mine as well. I don't call it this. Yeah.
But yeah, it's more because I wanted something that demonstrates that it's for everyone to use and share the photos of the day, not only to take a selfie and post up there. But,
it gives it a better feeling in terms of the wording. All right, Jimmy. So a question I've got for you is, which will be quite handy for some of our listeners, is out of all of your options, all the different package, all the items, would you say, we're going to take away DJ because we know that DJ is fundamental. It will be weird if someone called you.
That does happen. We did
I'm sure they did. They booked
where
everything,
they say, "Oh, we've got a band," or we've already got the DJ, but they still want the package of 10. Yeah. I'm like, what? You want me to take the most expensive component out?
Yeah, the most cool. All right, so you just want me to come and do love letters and
like that?
No problem. This is going to help with the storage costs. You know what I mean? But anyway, but taking the DJ away, taking the DJ out of it, what would you say is your say most two popular items that go out the most, taking away I feel to take away the dance floor as well. What I'm trying to get from you is one of the DJs listening, if they're thinking about maybe getting one of the things, what could they get? Yeah, so let's take away the dance floor because that's a massive. That becomes production team. This
Mhm.
steps away from DJ.
Right. Okay.
But let's take away DJ because we all are DJs. Let's take away dance floor 'cause that's more production
Mhm.
level. What would you say is your most two popular items that people choose and your two least popular items? So the items that go
Okay.
out the least. What would you say? Because this is
Right.
information that can really help some of our listeners.
Yeah, absolutely. But the the ones that I would say we do most, a photo booth of some sort.
Okay.
And we did think I was thinking photo booths were on the wane. You know, they're fading out of weddings now, but then you'll get a rush of like 3 in a day, and
Yeah, and then you're like,
or
okay, well,
you
I
might
was
think, oh,
wrong.
it's magic mirrors now, and then all of a sudden you got like 4 photo booths out in 2 days. You know, so or oval booths rather. So yeah, I would say a photo booth is definitely at
Popular.
almost every package we do, there's a photo booth there. And the other one that I would say, even in fact, the night before last, the wedding I did, that was disco and dry ice, was all they had. Dry ice is a
Okay.
very, very big one.
Dry
The problem you
ice.
got is the venues.
Because they
And
don't
a
all
lot of
allow it,
venues
innit?
don't allow it. Yeah. Now, dry ice and cold sparks, there are several venues that we've become exclusive provider at for one reason and one reason only, because I've had a conversation with them. Now, you still get venues that say no, but there's one in particular where the brides, it was two brides for this particular wedding, and they really wanted dry ice and cold sparks. And I knew one of the partners of the venue anyway, so I contacted him and I said, look, how about if I buy some dry ice just to do a demo? If I come in on a Tuesday morning when you've got nothing on and the venue's vacant, so I'm not going to disturb anything at my own cost, because I really want these brides to have what they want. I said, well, I'll always respect your venue. I'll always respect your needs, but will you let me come in and do a demo on my own time on like a Tuesday morning or whatever, and just reassure you and demonstrate it's impossible to trigger the alarms. And if
Mhm.
it fails, no harm, no foul.
Hands
We
up.
tried.
Yep, no problem. We're not doing it. But if it
But I know that's
runs,
not going to happen with the
that's not going to
equipment
happen
we
with
use,
not with
with the
cold.
quality of what we do,
Yeah,
and we
it's not
don't use,
that.
because the biggest problem is DJs say they're selling dry ice and they actually use
Low
cheap low
fog.
fog or low
Yeah,
haze
low fog.
machines.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
So
yeah.
low fog comes out with it. It's basically smoke that's been chilled over the ice. And when that warms up to room temperature, what happens to
It
it?
rises.
Off go your smoke alarms. So that's the problem. And if you can explain that to a venue and then demonstrate it, and now as a result, we're not only exclusive there, we're now recommended as DJ and everything at that venue. They even had an open day recently where they went, right, you dress the whole venue, put in as much kit as you want. You're the only entertainment supplier at that venue. All because, not because I was trying to get in at the venue, not in the least. It
No,
was,
you was
and
trying to be
yes, I knew
polite,
the owner
showing them
anyway,
you was
but it was
you really
purely,
wanted something for the couple.
yes, I know how much this means to them. Will you allow me to try and demonstrate it? And as a result, it's become a really, really good venue for us.
Okay, well, so
But yeah, you also asked about the two
two
least
least.
popular.
Yes.
Now this is a weird one. The floral love letters have only been out a couple of times. That was a friend of mine who was selling hers, and was struggling with another buyer, and she said, "Would you be interested?" And she didn't tell me she was struggling with another buyer. She just said, "Would you be interested? This is the price." And I went, "Yeah, I'll bring the cash over," and I bought them straight away. And we've used them probably twice. I think they're a nice to have. But it's great to have another option. So they've made their money back on them. The other one is the poser tables, the LED poser tables, but they're
What's that?
becoming
What
more
is
and
that?
more
What is that?
popular.
The
It's
poser table. What is that? I've
they're
never
the
even heard of that.
plastic tall tables, stand about that tall, but they're shaped sort of cone
The
shaped
bar
pebbles
tables, like the bar kind
with,
of you can rest your drinks on and stuff.
yeah, but they with a LED light built
Light
into
up.
them, so they color change. Um,
Gotcha.
we bought half a dozen of them, and in fact, initially they took quite a while to get off the ground for us. And I remember my dad, because he's a business background, and he's quite analytical, and he said, "Well, what's your return on investment going to be?" I said, "Well, that's not why I bought them." Well, that's not a very good business model. You've got to have a return on
Yeah,
investment.
you gotta have an
I said,
ROI.
"No,
What's going on?
with these packages, I'm not strategizing for these to have a direct investment versus return. They're another option for people to choose or not choose. So where we will see the benefit from them is in greater selection and in people who may go, well, we've got 8 and we're already in profit versus what we'd have spent individually. So let's have that and let's have that. So surprisingly, though, they have really taken off. So we do get quite a few bookings, especially with the dance floors. If we can have the poser tables next to the dance floors, it makes it a whole lot easier to ask people to please not take the drinks on the dance
Then
floors.
they can put it on the poster table, have their dance, and then come back to the
Yeah,
yeah. Okay.
exactly. So yeah, even the ones that haven't worked, I don't regret.
Mm-hmm.
In the early days, I bought a bouncy castle. When I was before we were a wedding company, when I was just a mobile DJ company, I got a bouncy castle. Lawn games, we had a couple of sets of those that we phased out a couple of brochures ago.
Mm-hmm.
So there are things. The Krispy Kreme donut tower, we were at the mercy of Krispy Kreme's pricing. So there's things that were a benefit that we've
Yeah,
moved
but not
away
so long.
from,
Mm-hmm.
but there isn't a single thing I regret. Because the bouncy
Okay.
castle was when my kids were little, so it was great in our back garden as well.
Yeah. It was doing double
But
time, so
yeah,
it's fine.
not a single investment that we've made that I actually regret, and hopefully that'll long continue. But the next thing
Mm-hmm.
I'm currently looking at, I've just had some messages from a supplier in China just now, actually, about a dry ice machine to perhaps make my own dry ice rather than being at the behest of the couriers. And if the venue is on the tail end of it, so we now have to have it delivered to our house a day prior, which means we
Yeah.
have to buy a bigger delivery amount. I'm just, well, do we start just producing our own? You know, considering we spend a good £3,000 or £4,000 a year just on dry ice,
Mm-hmm.
might be an idea to make my own and buy my own machine and
Yeah.
liquid CO2. So that's something
Yeah.
we're investigating at the minute. But that's not going to change our delivery. It's just going to change how we deliver the product
How
that
you
we
source
deliver.
the dry ice yourself? Yeah. How you source
Yeah.
it? Okay, because the thing is, like, I'm glad you shared those things, Jimmy. Because I even know within myself, especially when you're early, and this is more me speaking to like some of our earlier DJs. You get shiny syndrome when you first come into the game. Now you can
Yeah.
come into the game with your own money. You can come into the game with a loan. You can come into the game with lots of different ways. And I think if you come into the game with a loan, you have this not disposable, but you have this cash that you gotta start it making an ROI as quick as possible.
Yeah.
So then you start to buy up the place, boom, 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 boom. So you bought your lights, you bought your speakers, you bought your booth, you bought all that stuff. You still got about 3 or 4 grand left over, and you're like, okay, what should I get? And they start going on social media thinking about what is it that they see DJs using a lot of the time to try and get an ROI off that. And then they might think, dance floor, photo booth, think this, or they're trying to think out of the box. Maybe they want to go guest book, maybe they want to go something different or something a bit more niche, or try to be try to get something that's truly organic and fresh and new. And basically what I'm trying to do is for that early person is to save money, because I know I wasted
Yeah.
some money when I first came in. I bought things that I
Me
thought were
too.
going to be popular. They wasn't. They're still sitting in the lockup. I'm selling them. Or I bought multiple things of the same. Like I remember I was like, I need this speaker for this. I need that speaker for that. I need that speaker for that. So I ended up buying some speakers that I haven't used. Don't get me wrong. Now I do the all day hosting. Some of those speakers have now come in because they make more sense for that, not for an evening gig, but great for a ceremony, but great for
Exactly
a wedding
the same,
breakfast,
yeah.
or great to be
Yeah.
in another place, great for a satellite speaker and stuff like that. So some of the things that I've used, because I've molded the business and changed, they now can come into it more. But it's good. I just really wanted to talk to the people that get shiny syndrome, which a lot of us get. We love gear, we love
Yeah, we're
buying, we like
magpies.
new toys.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's that? That looks cool. I want
Yeah.
to play with it.
Yeah.
Watch lots of YouTubes on it, get all the inspiration, find a great deal, get it sent. Oh my God, the box, the smell, the touch, then start using these things, and then sort of realizing that like you're saying, even something like, low fog or even a haze machine, and then you invest in something that maybe clients want, you want, but the venues might not allow so as much. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? So then if you're recommended in 2 or 3 venues and those 2 or 3 venues don't allow this item that you've bought, maybe it's best to, if you're trying to get something like, low fog, ice machine, anything that's like smoky, contact your venue first, maybe, and speak to them, especially if you're recommended at 1 or 2 places. Speak to them first and say, look, I'm looking to invest in this. Is it something that you allow? Because at least if they say yes, at least anyone that comes in from that venue, I can always recommend them my fog machine. It makes the lights look better. Or haze machine, it makes this look better. So
Well, the
yeah, it's
way
just
I've
more or less about trying to help people with their investments.
the way I've always differentiated it is a business purchase versus an ego purchase.
Mhm.
So you're actually doing your due diligence, you're doing your research, you're working out. And one thing I'd suggest people try to avoid is the quick hit.
Yeah.
Um, so it's only going to cost me this, so I can bang loads of that out and it'll only be cheap. Well, it's so easy to go, I can do this cheap add-on. You do a cheap add-on, your presentation becomes cheap.
Mhm.
You should, I think every item that you get should be priced at the right point. And just because it's another service or another piece of equipment, I don't think you should be trying to lowball the other people, because that goes back to what I said at the beginning, which is we shouldn't be drawing comparisons on dry hire. So if you're
Yeah.
looking at investment, look at that as a business investment. And if it's something that you just think, that's really, really cool, I really want it for me, then that is what I would call an ego purchase. There's nothing wrong with an ego
Nothing wrong with an ego.
purchase.
Yeah. Which was said,
Nothing
there's
wrong with
nothing
it
wrong
at
with
all.
an ego purchase.
Just being aware which one you're doing, and then it's your money, but just be aware of which of those two lanes it falls into to make the right judgment as to whether or not you're going to invest that.
Yeah. And just to give people, if there's anyone that doesn't understand kind of what Jimmy just mentioned there, I can give you a clear example which will make it make sense. So controllers. So I use FLX for upgrades coming, but I'm in no rush at all because I can shell a party. That is a cheap controller. It's an entry level cheap controller. Most DJs, even DJs that have been DJing for less time than you, have a better controller than me. And that doesn't, for some people, that would bother them. I've even heard one or two DJs saying, "Oh, do you really use that?" And I'm like, bro, look at my videos.
Yeah, I get
Look at
that
my
about
reviews.
people
Look at
when
my
I use
reviews.
virtual DJ. Right, I've
Yeah.
been using it over 20 years. Not one client has ever inquired or been bothered.
No.
The
Nope.
only I remember once I was doing a private party years and years ago, but this guy came in and he was like craning and looking and judging, and he went, "Oh, you're using virtual DJ?" I went, "Yeah." And he was quite rude and off with me, to be honest, really judgy. And he went, "Oh, I use Serato." I went, "Oh, fair play, it's good
Good
software.
on
I
you, mate.
personally, I've got Serato. I'm just more comfortable with this." And he went, "Yeah, I do a lot. I use it a lot." I was like, "Okay, fair play." I said, Saturday night though, and you're at a house party.
So yeah, some of us are earning and some of us are just, ego purchasing. But whatever floats your boat, mate. Like that
Yeah.
Serato seems like it's returning on investment massively for you. But yeah, just to make it clear what we was talking about, these are the things. And once again, this isn't me or Jimmy throwing shade on anyone who has better DJ software
No,
or
not at
better
all.
controllers
Yeah.
than us. We're just saying business. Like on this podcast, I really like to talk about the business element, and the business element is more so what we
Well,
are talking about.
our contemporary rig that we use the abstract light sticks, and we use 4 of those. And I've seriously considered, should I get 12? Should I get another 8? And then I'm like, well, actually, it's in the brochure with those and with some 8 Labs poles that we use as well. It's in the brochure like that, and people like it like that. They like it simplistic. They like it minimalistic. It's a contemporary look, a contemporary setup. Why am I? And in fact, the suppliers must have asked me a dozen times, "You sure you don't want some more of them? It'd look really good with some more of them." And I'm like, actually, yes, I would like some more, but do I need some more?
Do I
I
need some more?
absolutely do not need more. The setup doesn't need more. My couples don't need more. So that's the perfect example of what would
That's
be
the
an
perfect
ego
example
purchase, because
of what is an
I
ego
buy a
purchase.
couple more just because once in a blue moon I'll go, "Oh, I'll throw all 12 of these out this time." And it won't really make any difference to the presentation, the performance.
No,
It certainly won't get me any more money.
no, because that's why I always say, and that Jimmy, anyone would know. I've got more than enough money to buy a couple of the best controllers, but the thing that stops me every single time is my business brain. Even to the point I keep saying, "I'm gonna get it," but since I go to order it, my business brain kicks in and says, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm just let me get Airflex 10," and straight away it's like, "Why?" And I'm like, just let me get it. And my brain's like, "But why? Why?" And this is and I love my business brain because my business brain keeps my banks loaded. Do you know what I mean? Numbers are all safe over there. I sleep with lovely sleeps. There's no problems. But the business brain stops me, like literally stops me. I could literally every time I'm like, okay, if I order it, I've got to do it quick. Then
Yeah.
before their brain
Actually,
comes
do you
in,
know
like,
what?
why? What are you doing? Like,
You've
get
just
this
reminded
instead.
me.
Like, do that
Yeah,
instead.
you're
Get
right.
that course. Learn that. And I'm like, oh, just Let me get the toy.
When the year that we were 2016, late 2016, we won our first ever. The business was a year old, and we won our first ever Essex Wedding Award. And I couldn't sleep. I was hyped. I was obviously ecstatic, justifiably so. And it was an incredible element for the business. My wife's gone to sleep. I had my MacBook on, and I was like, I really want a dry ice machine. I had a low haze at the time, and I'd used it, and I really panicked. I was going to trigger the smoke alarm. So and switch it off, back on for a bit, back off. And I thought, I can't have that stress again. So I looked at the Chauvet Nimbus. And at the time, I think it was about 850 quid. And obviously our pricing and everything about us was different. We were in the infancy of the business. And I actually woke my wife up to say, because it's been such a great night, will you let me reward myself with this for the business?
Yeah, let me get myself
and
a
now
treat.
we've got 3 ADJ on tour ice. Did move away from the Chauvet Nimbus to the ADJ, just for a personal preference on use. But yeah, now as a result, we've got 3 of them, and I'm looking at buying my own dry ice manufacturing machine. But back in the day, I remember making that decision, and it was an ego purchase, but it was fortunate that ego purchase was a
Paid off in the long
brilliant
run.
business purchase too.
Yeah. So that goes back to, like we were saying, there's nothing wrong with an ego purchase. And I'm saying it louder as well, so my business brain can get ready for when I just let me go and get let me go and get a better controller. The business brain is in me like, what are you doing? But yeah, there's nothing wrong with an ego purchase. And there's nothing wrong with having great kit as well. There's nothing wrong with having expensive, the hump to booth and all the shiny stuff that we see. If you want to have all high-end stuff, like 100%, I actually encourage it. Do you know what I mean? Have great stuff, because you're most likely to look after it. It's most likely to work longer for you. It's going to do all of those types of things. Because I can tell people right now with my FLX 4, I go through quite a few of them. I look at it as like it doesn't cost that much at all. But with my mixing style, because my mixing style is very high energy, I could take off a crossfade that easy. Something could just go missing. And I'm like, oh, Jesus. Well, oh my God, I've broken the metal. Okay, well, I'm going to be mixing with my finger now because the actual fader's gone. So those things happen. And then my business brain goes, don't worry, order one right now. It will be at your house tomorrow. Finish this gig today, order it. It will be at your house tomorrow. Crack on and finish the gig. So this isn't us like cracking down on anyone. It's just we're trying to help people with their business decisions and to try and stay away from the syndrome and get what you
everything
need.
that I've done isn't right for a lot of people out there, and it's just the whole purpose about what you do, and I'll give you full kudos and credit for it. The whole purpose is, if we can, the same as Pro Mobile, if you can go to that and then take a few nuggets that help you, you're not meant to listen to all of it and go,
yes,
oh, all of that is me.
I need to do every single thing.
That's the route to us all being out the same box. But if you can pick a couple of nuggets that work for you, that's the way that you, and because another thing, that the whole thing with the TV and the DJ booth, loads of people do it now. And there's a few people said to me, oh, does that not bug you? And I'm like, no, I think it's brilliant. If it had happened in the first 6 months to a year or 2 years, I'd have been disappointed. But I had a good 4 or 5 years of being pretty much the only one. And now it's become the norm. So if the business is elevating and if the industry is elevating, fantastic, because the winner there is the consumer. And not only is the consumer winning, but the people who are, I don't want to use the word innovate, I don't want to overplay my involvement, but from my perspective in my bubble, the people who are trying to create and trying to think of new ideas and trying to find new routes are being encouraged and driven to continue to find new routes. I think it's great.
No, I agree. And exactly like what you said, that's the reason why I bring on lots of different guests, because everyone's got a different perspective. And I feel everyone's right in their own right. Do you know what I mean? So picking and choosing is why I like to have the fruit of lots of different DJs like yourself who do things different. DJs like whether it be you and Lawrence from up Scotland, he does his multi-op, he does it very different. We've got Fox and Braces, he does his multi-op very different. We've got single ops, we've got Mike Reddins, we've got Daryl, we've got Scott. We all solo ops. We all do our things different. So the more people we can bring on to hear, and they all do their things totally different. Like every single one of us, we do our things different. And I look at it as that none of us are wrong. It's just I want somewhere where people can listen. That's most importantly if you're new. I remember when I had nothing, at least there's somewhere where you can come, listen to, and cherry pick, and you can back that. I could do that. I can afford that. I want to stay away from that. I want to do that. Have a bit more of an inform. So that's the reason why I like to ask why people have done things, how people have done things, so they can listen to a bit more of the story and say, okay, that sounds great, but after listening to what you said, maybe that's not for me. Do you know what I mean? Similar to like the multi-op, when someone's like, yeah, I want to do multi-op, let me listen to this. But maybe listening to what you said there, Jimmy, about like how some individuals can be, which we can all relate to or can understand how that can easily happen. They might say to themselves, do you know what, maybe that's not for me. Similar to like, that's what I did. I thought I was going to be in multi-op, and now I've made the sole decision to just be like, nope, I'm just going to do me and just do the best, be the best person I can be for my clients and my business. So yep, 100%, 100%. Jimmy, we have come to the time. I've got a couple more questions, but I'm going to keep them on layaway because I want you to come back for season 2 for another episode, if that's okay with you. So I'm going to keep some of these ones away for the next one because this one's going to be
keep my
interesting.
interest peaked, even if nobody else is.
No, well, yeah, because this one here, this one's going to be a bit of a, I think we need to spend time on this, and I think we've hit our limit for today. So don't worry, Jimmy, I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep it there, and when you come back, because I know this one here is timeless. It won't change whether I ask it to you now or if I ask it to you in December later on, or even January when we start 2027. I know it won't change, but Jimmy, man, thank you so much for your transparency. Thank you so much for your honesty. Thank you so much for your sharing on today's pod, and even with me, as you've done yourself in the past as well. I really, really appreciate that stuff, and I champion anyone who's helping others grow, which you've clearly done for myself. You didn't know me from Adam, and you gave me a leaf branch, which I will always extend my appreciation to. So yeah, thank you so much for your time, my man.
Thanks for having us, mate. Always good to see you as well.
Always. All right, guys, man, I hope you enjoyed that insightful episode of the Mobile DJ Mastery. I have left Jimmy's contacts inside the description. So if you want to go and have a look at Jimmy and what he's doing, make sure you reach out to him. If there's any questions or stuff that you have, don't bombard. One of the things that we really talked about today is about copying and not copying and to take inspiration. And that goes for all of the guests that I have on this podcast. Always take inspiration from people because you are an original person yourself. You have your own ideas. You have your own way of doing things, and injecting that into your business will make you stand out. It doesn't matter how big or little you think you are. I know you might think to yourself, well, it's just me. There's something about you that's different to the way everyone else does things. And if you listen to all the guests that we do have on this podcast, there's different ways in the way they do things, and it's personal to them. So some of your personal traits and ways of doing things is going to echo strongly with some of the clients that you're going to be meeting along your DJ journey. So remember, inspiration over copying every single day. Be yourself, and it's going to work for you 100%. Anyway, guys, it's been great having you guys on. Make sure you tune in same time, same place next week on the Mobile DJ Mastery Podcast for some more gems, and whatever gigs you have this weekend, go and smash it, do a great job, and remind that couple why it is that they booked you and why it was a great choice to book you. Make sure you get your content, post your content. Don't be disrespectful with getting your content, but get the content to make sure you can continue your business. Anyway, guys, it's been great. Make sure you stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers!